We are live. I'm just waiting for YouTube as usual. Just a second, guys, and we're going to be with you in a second. Just waiting for the confirmation. Yeah, I think we are. Let me see if the sound is not on. Yeah, no, it's all good. So I don't need to hear myself in that sense. So welcome to our episode number 33. So he's Junior and that is Amanda. And I love that Amanda always have like a different background. I'm always keeping this same kind of background so far. My sleepy face in the morning. And I was just like, when I was talking to a friend yesterday and I told her like to come and have a look at the Alchemy chat, and then I was like, look, you're always going to see me with like almost like a sleepy face. That's when I wake up and so on. So that's a great way to wake up as well. So good. For today's episode, we're going to make it a little bit shorter than usual. We're getting like to 45, 50 minutes and so on. But Amanda gets to leave like literally in half an hour from now. So it will be good for you as well. They're watching this. And the topic for today is basically core beliefs. It might be quite a kind of how to say it, theoretical, like to hear it, core beliefs. And they are like, even if you study psychology and therapy and everything else, there are some theory behind it, and like core beliefs, limiting beliefs, and the mind and everything else. But we're going to make it as practical as possible. And I love the examples that Amanda just brought up even before we jumped into the call. And my understanding, even before we go into the examples from Caroline, from Amanda, I'm working with like a friend of mine, and I became a partner. I keep calling Caroline everyone, and I apologize, Amanda, already in that as well. But anyway, pardon?
I call everybody my children's name, so don't worry.
Good. So, in a very good note as well. So, my understanding so far, let's say the example that I got from my own life as well. I was talking to a friend of mine because I was feeling like trapped. The situation that was happening with me is like I couldn't sell anymore my products. It's almost like I reached a level into my coaching practice, let's say, that I was selling it to a so high level ticket that you hit one of my core beliefs. And I couldn't see that until a friend of mine who is a coach as well, and he pointed out that as well. And one of my core beliefs is to be honest, and it seems to be like a good core belief to have. However, there was there was an unbalancing there in terms of how I was delivering that. So I was charging more to, let's say, 20K or something, for a coaching program, but there was another belief inside of myself that I was not delivering up until that level. Do you see what I'm of 20K plus? Not that my clients, they were getting the results, they were getting satisfied, but inside of me I was like, because I'm not worthy of it as well, which is another core belief. Do you see what I mean? I was like, no, I'm not going to sell this anymore, even if I sold to that level, in that sense. And then there was an interesting thing that he just brought up. So like, let's say if your core belief is being honest, and you feel that you're being dishonest because you're not worthy of that price and you're charging that price, for example, you will do, your mind and your subconscious mind will do whatever it takes to take you out of that place. And one way, and then he was saying, and I can see how much you are dedicating yourself to push that value. And I was like having extra calls with clients. I was putting being in contact with messages and audio messages, and I'm putting more value into it, and nothing that I was doing, it was enough for my subconscious mind to say that I was selling for that amount of money, for example. And that kind of literally, and then it comes to another theoretical term that we say, self-sabotage, which is, and you don't know why you don't want to sell, you don't want to know why you don't want to do this anymore, because it's hitting hard into some of the core beliefs of like, I'm not worthy that amount of money, or I'm honest and I'm not being honest, what I mean, to myself, and so on, in that way. So it's an interesting concept in there. But yeah, I jumped in.
Oh, Bess, I love that, Gina. I love the authenticity, and I love that, you know, it's so beautiful. You sharing the honesty of that and your journey with that as well, because that's what we're sharing here, isn't it? Everything is a journey and a process. Um, and the reason the core beliefs are so important is because it's a bit like a tree, isn't it? Core beliefs are almost like the roots holding the tree, and then you've got the trunk and you've got the tree and the leaves. I know the tapping solution, like using a tree a lot, because and the leaves of our life can be sort of how our core beliefs are eventually affecting our lives. So it could be, you know, like around business, or, you know, I really want to attract a great partner, but I don't seem to be attracting people that have a healthy balance with or seem to treat me very well. But I want a healthy relationship, but why am I attracting people that maybe don't? Because I'm sure I like myself. Um, and as you allow yourself to go right into your core beliefs, and I totally get, after years of working with different people, going into your core beliefs can feel scary. It can feel it can be a fortress around them. I'm protecting my core beliefs because I believe my core beliefs keep me safe. But our core beliefs, when we can go within and really start unraveling, unpacking, going deeper into the emotions these core beliefs are bringing up, that's where the real change, that's where the real integration and the embodying occurs. Because the different levels are, I mean, you explained it so brilliantly. And that there's different levels to this as well. So we always say that when we unearth core beliefs, it returns us back to who we really are. And the truth of who we really are, the core beliefs that are naturally set within our soul and our heart, is I am goodness, I'm innocent, I have infinite value, I am worthy, I'm enough, I am safe, I'm meant to be here. There's a purpose that I'm here. Yeah. And obviously, we've talked about before that when we're born, you know, I won't go into it today, but there's a lot of information around why, as humans, we stepped away from that. I think for me, we forgot our divinity and we got lost in the physical world. We got lost in the primitive being safe. And it's when we can go deeper and remember, and of course, when we can look at, I was sharing with Junior, we're very respectful of people's privacy here. So I'm going to be very careful how I talk about this client, because I'm going to be very respectful.
Just keep it as, you know, a person. We don't need to
Um,
name, you know, sex, gender,
yeah,
anything
no.
like it.
This is a person who, on the outside of their life, was hugely successful, their own business, super bright. They had taken on huge personal challenges in their family. And they came to me just with sort of, it was almost really, could I help them with members of their family and their behavior? And eventually it became very apparent that it was a belief of, well, if they could change, I'll be okay. So it was quite a gentle thing, didn't go straight into, but there was okay, so let's look at this belief around, if that person would change, then I can be all right. And what we very gently unearthed was maybe a little bit of powerlessness. Anyway, so to cut a long story short, they did brilliantly. And the reason they did so well was because during the sessions they said, look, I'm here, this means so much to me, let's look at everything. And in between the sessions, they practiced it because they wanted to make these changes, not only for themselves, but for loved ones within their family, their personal life, and their business. Very committed, did brilliantly. And she said, I can't believe what an abnormal normal I was. I was constantly anxious, constantly feeling overwhelmed, constantly feeling disempowered, and constantly blaming, constantly being a victim I didn't know. So the summer started, and this person said, I'm going to be honest, I'm going to struggle to keep up the session. So I said, I'm here. Anyway, so period of time elapsed, they got back in touch. They said, I forgot everything. I got so sucked into all the old patterns. I was spending so much time with these family members. work was crazy, and they were apologizing to me. And I said, hey, honey, first of all, there's no apology coming my way. And what happened was, with her going back to all these old ways, it really brought it into focus for her about how she didn't want to live like that anymore. And it was having negative effects in work, her family. It was affecting all the areas of her life. And what we managed to do by her forgetting to do it, it really brought into focus for her a core belief. Her anxiety was based around, I get things wrong. It's my fault. I'm to blame. No matter what I do, it's not enough. I am responsible for not only myself, but everybody around me. And of course, that's massively overwhelming. It's too much. And it meant she didn't have healthy boundaries either, because she couldn't disconnect between my sense of worth is in what I bring to others. And then she'd feel disempowered and a bit of a victim. Then she'd feel resentful because her core belief was, I get it wrong, it's my fault. So it was almost like life had almost set it up for her that went, okay, she'd done so well. And I could tell there was more work to be done. And I trusted what she said, I need to go. I was like, that's fine, I'm here. And then I said to her, this is beautiful, because by you forgetting, I know it's been painful for you, but life has brought into such focus for you now for you to say, yeah, I'm ready to go deeper. I'm ready to go deeper. And these core beliefs got shown up. And the beautiful thing was, she said, gosh, yeah, I love remembering who I really am, and she was integrating and changing those. And she loved words like peaceful resolution, contented harmony. She loved feeling like she was in her light and somebody was in their light. And she loved this beautiful space between them. And she used that a lot in her life. And the last time we met up, she was saying, God, there were some situations that were going on. These old patterns were sort of, they're quite persistent. They sort of, there's a conditioning, there's an energy. There can also be an addiction to negative emotion. There's a false power in that. And she was wonderful, because she said there were certain things happening where I could see some of these old patterns were wanting to come in. But she said, I said no. I said to them, no, no more. No, zero tolerance. No, I am safe. I am enough. I am here to be me. And if I'm being authentic, being what's right for me, it might be different to that person. I might not be being what that person wants me to be. But if I'm being what's right in my heart, I know it's what's right for them. And she was sharing some external situations around people pleasing. And I was so happy for her, because she'd gone to this huge event and she'd been so authentic in herself. And she said, it was okay. I realized I perhaps didn't fit into this certain circle of people. But she went, it was so powerful, because I could see we just kind of weren't a match. And that was okay. It wasn't I was doing anything wrong, or they were doing anything wrong, or I wasn't good enough. But she said, I came home and I was I'd gone through all the fears that came up. They're going to reject me. They're going to abandon me. I'm going to be outcast. And she said, but because I was really changing and integrating my core beliefs and really tuning into who I am, and she was doing that deeper connection of, we did use the word God, but she said, yeah, when I really tune in and really go to that space within, I can really feel there's something here with me that loves me. And no matter what embarrassing, shameful things I'm sharing here, it's holding me and saying, go girl, you go, we're here, let it all out. We adore you. You've done nothing wrong. But the fact you're here, you're taking responsibility. God, we're loving this. And she could see that her soul never looked back with regret. Her soul only celebrated every time she beautifully and powerfully remembered who she really was. And that was the changing of the core beliefs. And then she said, I'm just noticing how so many things are changing. The leaves of my tree, the branches, even my trunk, there's so much that's changing. And I'm not having to really do anything. I'm not really taking any different actions, but my work relationships are getting better. My home life's getting, lots of things are improving, because she said, I know I'm integrating my core beliefs, and that's reconnecting me with who I really am. And it was a joy. I mean, she was a joy to work with.
Like, yeah, no, thank you so much, Amanda, for sharing in so much, giving so much for people to actually connect with as well, and to understand, because we have this stuff that happens in our life, like, what was happening in this lady's, situation. And by the way, if this lady is actually listening to this, I just want to be grateful. I mean, people won't know that you anyway, do you see what I mean? But like, you can see that your transformation is helping other people to transform now. Do you see? Even anonymously, I would say,
Yeah,
and without knowing who you really are in terms of that. But your courage to actually transform your life is actually bringing light to other people. Just, I wanted just to open that parenthesis, if that person is watching this. um, but I know that how much we don't understand why something is happening. Like, I was sharing my own experience with, like, why is it that I know I can sell, I know I can deliver the results, and I know, and then you just reach a moment where, what I mean, hit one of the core beliefs in there.
yeah,
And again, sometimes it's not about digging so deep in terms of like, I have to find that core beliefs. It will almost like, it will become obvious to you, like what you said there. And there's one quote that I always use, like in with my clients and so on: the obstacle is the way, the problem is the solution. So that time away for that lady, and actually, coming out of that very good time to actually go down into the challenge, really allow her to go deep. I mean, it's literally that deep that we had in life, allow us to go into the root of the problem.
yeah,
And because she had the courage, the vulnerability to say, hey, there's something wrong here, down here, what I mean, in this deep, that it feels dark, it feels really underground, do you see? And that's the opportunity for you to actually go and see what's going on the roots of that. And that is where you bring it to light.
yeah,
and and then what to do. And I love what you mentioned here as well. At some point we can do it on our own.
mhm,
Sometimes we need someone. Like, I wouldn't have seen those core beliefs I was holding in them until I open up. And on this case, it was with my friend in Brazil. There were so many times that we saw core beliefs when I was working with Amanda,
yeah,
but it doesn't, again, we don't have to expect it to come from our friend that we always open up, or from a therapist or something. Sometimes a conversation over a coffee,
yeah.
my wow, I didn't know that there was that belief down there, and so
It,
on.
that's
Yeah.
a really beautiful thing to me. I'm so glad you're so good at this. You always, I love how you give
We're doing a good team. Yeah, it's good.
it's beautiful, because that's a really important point. Because what you don't want to do is put an expectation on one thing, because life will give you what you need when you become open. There's a certain humility to this, isn't there? There's a certain humility of, it's not that we're saying we're broken and wrong, but perhaps there's something within me that I can maybe help to integrate and change. And you're so right. You don't, being open to everything, open to what your heart tells you. I think we shared jokingly, I think it was a toilet roll advert once, that I was sat there and it was, God, I really needed to hear that today.
The moment of like the toilet.
Yeah, the light shone, the angels came in. It was a toilet roll. It was something so silly. And it was words I'd heard so many times. And it's such a good point, because you don't want to, again, it's giving, and you shared about your beautiful crystal that you had.
Yeah.
Um, if you put all of your trust in one thing, um, it becomes unbalanced. So yes, like I know, I trust now where to go when something comes up. But that's been a learning process for both of us. the more you do this, you start to trust your intuition, you start to trust yourself again, you start to trust your inner guidance. And when we've been disconnected from who we really are, and I will say source, divinity, God, stop trusting. But I've also, this has been a huge one for me over the years, whether it's my private life or my professional life, there can be an addiction to the negative emotions that come up from a false core belief. And there can be a resistance to looking at it. I'm too scared to look at that. I'm not ready yet. And I worked with somebody who said, well, I've not done anything wrong. And the reason I'm depressed is because of all the things people have done to me. So I don't need to work on myself. If all these people change, then I'll be all right. And I had to say, I hear you. I hear you. And how do those words make you feel? And I bless them. They're at that place where they made them angry. And I gently said, so, can you see what's in that anger? I can hear how much you're hurting. But they're in a place where they weren't ready to go deeper than that, and I tried sharing forgiveness isn't about saying something's okay that somebody did to us. It's about saying, I forgive you for you forgetting the divine light that you are, because nobody that's remembering who they are is cruel, unkind, abusive, unthoughtful, self-absorbed. And I had to trust that that's okay. I can't force them. I can't, and I said, it's not about saying what these people did was okay. It's never about that. That's where we learn. But the forgiveness is like you shared the other day. We can't take a poison thinking we're going to poison that other person. So it's not saying it's okay, but it's helping us to acknowledge our worthiness and that belief of I've done nothing wrong. So I don't need to work on myself. I've done nothing wrong, but if the world would change, I won't get depressed or anxious. So the core belief in there was, actually for me, I'm scared because it feels more powerful to blame. And it's a process. Blaming others is a false power. It's very vulnerable. It takes huge humility to go within and say, it's not about saying we're doing anything wrong. It's not a judgment, but it's saying, okay, what's going on within me? And it's not saying you're doing something wrong. If you've got an untrue fear-based core belief, we are not sitting here saying, oh, well, you're doing that wrong, aren't you? We're not. We all took them on. We all did. So it's having, and life will get you ready for that. And the people we've shared about, for Junior and I, your business, I've worked with you, you were my business coach, and you were a phenomenal business coach for me because you read into me and I became a unique person. You didn't just ply on loads of, this is what we're doing, Amanda, you've got to fit into this box. You were so wonderful with me, and that you went, yeah, I can kind of see where you're coming from. And I loved it because you were so allowing me to be me and access who I was, and hugely beneficial to me in my early days, sort of setting up. And I think life will get us to that place where we almost say the leaves on my trees are being so affected by something that I'm ready to do the work. I'm ready to go within. And it's not about blaming ourselves if our outside world doesn't look like it's working for us. And often that's an existential crisis. Often that's the gift. As you said, the gift is in the problem, because it's when we realize we are so much more than our external, that it forces us to come back within again and remember the wholeness, the goodness, the worthiness, the value, the safety, the infinite value, the co-creativity. You're not on your own. You are with something we can't see, but it adores us and loves us. It's massively intelligent. We are part of a bigger picture, and our ego might struggle with that sometimes because it might have to relinquish, hey, I'm the one here that's calling all the shots. And it's not. It's like a child, really, isn't it? Being given too much
And I find it interesting as well because we can't see some of these core beliefs, let's say, you the result on, let's say, on the tree leaves and everything else that is coming up, and you are like, no, but the problem is my leaves are getting, let's say, dry because of the sun, it's because of the wind, because of this and everything else. But where the most of that energy is coming from is from the roots of who you really are. And you can come from that the deepest part of you, which is the essence, which is the life that brings life to it. Or
Yeah.
you can start kind of feeding from things that are not so helpful for you, that are more like toxic in that sense. And then you can see what's coming out on the other side. And I love that you brought this idea, Amanda, of when we're blaming, shaming, and not just other people, we're blaming ourselves, we're shaming ourselves as well. We can, there is that obvious look that we can see sometimes. I mean, there's different stages there. There is a moment where you're blaming everyone. For example, like one of part of my story, it's like when I had an abusive relationship. For example, it was a verbal abuse. We ended up in a hospital and so on, a 7-year relationship.
Yeah.
But until I was putting the power that he's abusing me in that sense, I have no power because I'm giving like, it's his fault. He's doing this, he's doing that, and so on. And I couldn't see that because it's, my comfort zone to become the victim. And then I get, pull you, and do you see what I mean? And all this stuff that is happening there.
Yeah.
So it feels like I'm being looked after because I'm the victim in here, and I can, blame, even if it's subconsciously complain or, share, or however we do it in this way. But until we don't take okay, I am being a victim here. So I'm allowing myself to be a victim here. Can I withdraw from this situation? Can I choose to step out of this? And the choice is ours. We can take in. I'm not saying it's easy. It's not, what I mean. Come out of a 7-year relationship where you have, lots of things going on there. It's not an easy step because there's a lot of attachment. There's a lot of, connection and so on in that way.
Yeah.
But deep down in the root of the thing is I can choose something different. And at the moment, it might be a core belief that I need someone, I need, to be in this relationship and so on. That is all down there, holding you into place where you blaming, no, they are doing this to me. I can't, do anything. It's their fault. Until you wake up and like, I can change this. I am being a victim at this moment, but I can choose not to be a victim. I can come out of this. So that's where we can take. And then at the same time, there are other situations where you are blaming yourself, shaming yourself, and using the core, the core beliefs and the negative stuff to say, yeah, I'm a shitty head. Do you see what I mean? I can't do the stuff. And like, it's my core beliefs problem. Do you see what I mean? I have something inside of me that I can't get stuff done. What a shame on you, in myself, and so on. And that is actually hiding you from actually taking full responsibility of like, okay, you can separate what we talk in so many episodes. There's a part of me
Yeah.
that is, what I mean, really connected on, let's say, procrastinating, not getting stuff done, not selling, not doing the stuff. Can I choose, what I mean, to come out of this, stop being a victim of my own, self in that way?
Yeah.
What can I change? And then again, I love what Amanda always repeat and come back over and over again, which is the, deeper core belief of who we really are, which is like, I am worthy. And then there might be a part of like our head saying like, no, you're not worthy. Do you see what I mean? And rather than fighting with this, and it's like, I hear you
Yeah.
that you don't believe that you're worthy.
Yeah.
But yes, I am worthy. And the more you repeat that, you start kind of like, oh, okay, I'm not worthy. Maybe I'm worthy. Do you see what I mean? Start kind of cracking that,
Yeah.
core belief, like, okay, maybe I could be worthy. And there are different ways that we can do. We've done this in sessions as well, where we can, with love, embrace that I'm not worthy, thought or belief or condition that we have, and say, look, I love you, thank you so much, you protect me, you gave me some, good stuff. As I said, the obstacle is the way, the problem is the solution.
Yeah.
What did I gain from, I'm not worthy belief up until now? The I'm not worthy belief, allow me to stay with my family so far, to, to have that relationship, to have the experience that I had, and so on. Now I can be grateful for
Yeah.
what I used to blame, shame, and be sad about, be angry about, and so on. And
Yeah.
then it gets back to who you really are. I know this is, it's a complex, idea. It might be, I know we were coming to the end of the timing here, let's say, but I just want you guys to see it is a complex, idea, but there are steps that you are taking, like listening to this. It's
Mm-hmm.
already a massive sign that the person to whom you really are is ready to actually, there is a root here. Do you see what I mean? It's almost bringing it to light.
Yeah. Yeah.
Don't expect that you have to go there and dig and take it out, or something like forceful or anything else, but it's actually just creating that, that seed, the light inside of you, like, oh, I understand there is, there's more stuff here that I can actually connect with, that I can, embrace, that I can be open to. And I want to leave this here with you guys as well. There are ways, like, where just bringing awareness to it, it will help to change, because then as soon as you see, like, I'm not worthy, I can't do this, I can't do that, or they do this to me, they done that, they are, keeping me in this way, and so on, you can start to, oh, interesting, I can see now, some patterns.
Yeah.
And then you can start bringing back, okay, some of the stuff that Amanda brings up. So I am light, I am worthy, even if it sounds like a disconnection there, you can start some seeing the cracks and start to see the light in that way. And
Yeah.
that you can do it on your own in to begin with a few things. You can reach out for help for some people. Do you see what I mean? People around us sometimes, to a therapist, to, it, but it's our step, it's our decision. And you will know inside of you, in your heart, what's the next step. It might be like, I don't know, I will look for a therapist. Do you see what I mean? I will talk to a friend. There
Yeah.
is this happening as well. So, yeah.
And I so beautiful, isn't it? Thank you for sharing something so your core heart. That was, it made me quite tearful actually. You were sharing about your relationship, but it is, isn't it? It's saying that um, I'm ready to start seeing something, and it's the different levels, isn't it? The different levels we're ready to go to. And I know somebody that says, oh, I talk to angels, and that's their first step. They see colours, they see lights, and she said, it makes me feel better. But I know at that level, they're not looking at their core beliefs yet. And, sometimes you don't want to stay stuck on a certain level that's stopping you from going deeper. But life always makes things happen that will force you to look at something. So for that person, it might be, or I see lights, and that, and that's beautiful. And actually, that might not feel enough anymore because it's really going within. And I know every time I work with somebody, when they reconnect with that space, that stillness within them, when they feel, and I understand how the word God has so many connections and beliefs attached to it. But when you say there's a consciousness here that it's divine, it's intelligent, it loves me, I come from that, I am goodness, I'm meant to be here, I have value, I matter. And it's not about what I do on the outside. That's a common one for people. I have to earn my worthiness. You create very healthy, strong boundaries within yourself as well. That's when these patterns start to dissolve as well. So but as you beautifully said, by just listening to this today and starting to be open, and you'll do what you're ready to do. And even if you say, I'm angry because they said I'm a victim, and you might have, it's awful if someone accuses you of being a victim, because you don't want to think of yourself as a victim at all, do you? So there could be some resistance about, my core belief is I'm powerless and others have power over me. But if they hear the word victim, they're not going to like that. But we're not saying there's a judgment, it's just a pattern that's coming from a core belief, which is I'm not enough. Um,
Guys, I want to respect, we got some plans after this as well. If there is something that you would like, us to go deeper into, and of course, we're doing these episodes almost like, every day, and as we do this. So let me know what would you like to, expand on the next episode so we can have a look on this as well. But I want to leave with something that came to my mind just before, we finish this episode. Is like, I learned this before as well, but our biggest, awakening moments, our biggest, aha moments or gifts, do you see what I mean, are on those dips. And it's not to blame those dips so much, but like, for example, my, it's a past relationship that I had, that was, abusive, helped me to see who I am, really am, and help me to be the person who I am in this new relationship, in that sense. The example that Amanda beautifully put in there, that deep that lady had to go through, allow her to see who she really is, even beyond those core beliefs and so on. So there will be, things that you've gone through, the life try, to show you already, and you've seen some of those, things, those gifts already. And it might be that you can look back into some of those dips that you already, I'm not saying that you have to create new dips, you see, there will be, do you see what I mean? It's a normal thing. But you can, look back and say, what is life really, what's the gift in this? And you might not able to answer straight away, but yeah, as you leave that, our minds are very powerful to start finding solutions as well, in that sense. Guys, I know we can talk this forever in here, so I
oh,
know
it's
Amanda
just
has to go now as well. Yeah, you're right.
yeah. But I think, as you say, we're wanting to say to you, you're not on your own with this.
Yeah,
There's no shame in having core beliefs that don't match goodness,
we all
wholeness,
have.
value. It's part of being human at the minute, and that's. I want to say there's a powerful energy here. It's almost like a wave that's come in, and we can ride that wave. There's like an energy now that's coming together to want to lift us through and out of these core beliefs, to return us to the consciousness of who we really are. So you're not on your own with this, and you're not doing anything wrong. You're not, nothing needs fixing. It's just that time to, that self-awareness of, yeah, how do I really feel in this moment, hearing what they're saying? How's this making me feel? And that's where you start. How are you feeling?
Awesome. So guys, thank you so much again for being here, for listening to this, for yourself, with us and so on. If, our usual, drill at the end of this calls, if there is something that really connected with you, just put that thumbs up so we know that, yeah, we're resonating with you. If it doesn't, yeah, put it down as well. So that's the
Absolutely.
same way. If there is something specific on this, episode that you would like to expand, let us know in the comments. If there's something that you agreed and you were like, this gave me like some beautiful aha moments, share with us so we know, we're in the right track. If there's something that you don't agree and you're like, this is, bullshit, it doesn't work, and so on, then yeah, when you use the space to express, that anger and so on. That's a way of expressing it, and we can, address this in another episode as well. And if you haven't subscribed, and if you like this kind of chats as well, then yeah, subscribe. If you know someone else that you think he would appreciate from this, then you can share as well. So thank you so much for being here with us today, and I'll see you guys on the next episode. Bye.
Oh,
Bye for
thank
now.
you so much, and lots of love. Bye for now. Bye bye.
Bye.